Hello and welcome to another video from the Fan Pub. I've got Sean with me, I'm Al. Today we're going to go through a list. Fantasy Pros just released a list of the expert consensus, so we're talking all the
top
fantasy
experts
experts
list, yeah.
and their sleepers for this year and what we think, whether we agree or disagree and why. So
okay, that's fine.
hopefully this will be of some use to you.
And what we'll do is we'll give their RB number in terms of what number they are off the board for RB at the moment in standard ADP lists off Fantasy Pros. That'll be the easiest way to do it. We'll start from the top and work our way down then, yeah?
Yeah. The first one on the list is RB32. It's Miles Sanders of the Philadelphia Eagles. What are your thoughts on him, Sean?
Warmed a lot, actually. You've mentioned him quite a lot in the off-season to me, and over the course of time, I've really begun to kind of think that this guy has a chance. I'm not saying he's necessarily the starter week one or anything like that. Jordan Howard clearly should have the rock to start the year off, but I think we're looking at a player that grows into the role, and they might have on their hands a three-down back, and they haven't had a three-down back for a long time, and that may be two reasons for that. The first one is the way the Eagles, under their coach, tends to like to operate. It tends to be a bit of a committee issue, but I've always wondered they haven't really had someone that they maybe trust, and maybe this is the guy. Or then suddenly he's electric with a great schedule and everything else. It could be potentially league winning, so it's a definite good shout and a player I'm happy to take some shares of, and I did in this one.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
Definitely
took him in our recent draft.
Yeah, so definitely worth taking a stab. I took him in. I think it was. Where are we down?
Round six.
Round in the 12th, man.
Yeah.
It's about right. So RB 32 is about right.
I totally agree. I mean, like Sean said, the negative is the Eagles use a committee, but maybe this guy, apparently he's been the most electric running back they've got in camp. So he could break out and make it his own. I think he's got every chance to do that.
There'll be a lot of opinions on him, won't there, for this year, and rightly so. But it's one I think you just have to be a little bit cautious of. You shouldn't go in thinking it's a guaranteed three-down back week one. You should just think, if I've got him on my team and it goes the way I think, then I've got a player that could take.
And he's somebody that really could come into his own later in the season and give you that boost you need. So you're talking round 6. You haven't got to pay a high pick. Don't go reaching madly for him.
So I agree with the experts on this one. I think that's right. It's a good one that many have highlighted as a good breakout star for this year. Totally agree with that.
And the second one,
I'm really pleased to see this because
the second one is someone you've been banging his drum all off season, all pre-season as well, and that's Devin Singletary at RB50.
Delighted to see it. You'll have to go and watch the special bold prediction videos to see his name on there. He will be on there, and it's a special bonus for you. He's on there for a reason for me, and it's simple. There's nothing really to beat out. Everybody will keep talking about McCoy and Gore. We're not near the season yet. It's still 2 weeks to go. Sure, they're lingering around, but everybody knows when you watch the stuff that this guy's doing, the way he catches, the way he runs. I mean, they've already said when he's in space, any space, and he's one-on-one, the first man misses. That's what a running back has to be able to do. He may not have breakaway speed, and I'm not denying that, but in Buffalo, in the winter, one cut in the cold, and that may be that's all you wrote, and that's a star there. He's got potential in that team to grow into a significant role. And again, I wouldn't pick him because I believe he's going to start the year off as the number one, but I bet you by the end of it, it's all said and done, he ends up being it.
I mean, Sean's been telling me about Devin Singletary since December. He was excited to see what team he landed on, and Buffalo's quite a good place to land. Obviously, they're not a great offense, but in the cold, you think
it's going to be exciting.
His cutting ability is
get a bit of snow on the ground and just watch this guy fly.
And let's face it, McCoy and Gore have got plenty of miles on the clock.
I will never ever knock Gore on this channel for his sheer longevity,
he's
his
steady,
ability.
but he's not exciting like Singletary.
It's the end of the road, and it's the same with McCoy. It's time, and if Buffalo have got any sense, what they'll do is let this young kid take over, and hopefully quickly, because he's exciting. And you watch what he can do. He's so exciting,
and he's somebody who can lift a crowd, and
he's not going to cost you a big premium. Running back 50, so pretty much any pick you like.
Yeah,
load him onto your team.
Exactly. He's a late flyer in your draft.
He's an all-day-long player, and I think, again, I had him in this one as well. So in this particular league, I took him again, and I won't ever hesitate. That was in round 9, I grabbed him there. And that might be a little early, but I didn't care, because I just wanted him so much on that team. Load him on and see what he does. And I needed to be running back heavy. So, yeah, I'm not frightened to take shots of him all day long, and have done in Dynasty. So
I mean, there's been rumours lingering about McCoy being traded or cut, to save on the cap space, but we'll see if that comes to fruition. But Singletary is definitely someone to keep an eye on, and someone you can, again, you could target. He was one of our both of these actually, Sanders and Singletary, and the next guy actually, who is Darwin Thompson, RB70.
Yeah, you were very high on him.
We're actually on our sleepers.
Yeah.
Now a report came out today, and this is we did our actual sleepers before this report came out, and it's a report from a beat writer from the Athletic. They're a very big, obviously fantasy relevant team. They've got a lot of big hitters in there. They're growing, a lot of good content. But they've actually said Carlos Hyde might not even make the team.
He's on the bubble.
We've seen crazy a couple of weeks ago when Williams went down. I just think if that is true, then Darwin Thompson is a very sneaky late, especially in PPR, because he's a small guy, electric guy, a Tarek Cohen type, electric pace. The crowd are going to love him. He's going RB70, so especially in PPR leagues, he's going to be brilliant value late on, and he's somebody to be excited about. If Carlos Hyde goes, that's his value's going to rocket. So
Kansas nearly always find every year somebody new. I mean, you've only got to remember the names that have come out of there in the last few years. There's always somebody's a star. We're not 100% very high on Damien Williams. And I guess if we were going to add one player to a bust list, we should have probably put Damien on our bust list.
No, because I think Damien Williams, I wouldn't put him on a bust list, because if he plays all year...
It's a big if, though.
Well, exactly. But if he does, he's going to produce phenomenal numbers.
But Thompson is probably that kind of pick where I think you just, it's so late, running back 70. If you can get him as a last round flyer, I think you just take it every time.
Yeah,
I really do. I just
he's
think
not going to cost you anything, and he could be a real star.
Opportunity is huge. He can certainly catch, and the guy can do all the stuff that you're looking for. So it's going to be very, very interesting.
Give me any part of that offense cheap. It's worth the risk.
So I do agree with the beat writers on this one. This is another star, but we have been highlighting him for a while, so that's good.
Yeah, he was on that.
I like the way they're coming around to our thinking. That's good.
Yeah, they're catching up. It's good. That's a bit of tongue in cheek. Or number 4 is Duke Johnson. He wasn't on our sleepers list, but we can see why. He's RB44. He's just been traded from the Browns to the Texans, who've got a very shallow backfield with just Lamar Miller, and nobody ever likes Lamar Miller. No fantasy experts ever like him. But he's really steady, and you've got to remember that. Yeah,
he's very, very steady. He's ideal in standard leagues. He's not so perfect in PPR leagues.
Well, that's where G. Johnson's going to come in.
And that's where this guy comes in. And I think RB44, it could be a bit of a darling pick, actually. He could be okay there. I can see the cleverness of the pick, and at RB44 you're not risking a lot.
He's a great pass catcher.
He's led the league on pass catching.
Yeah, he is. He's a great pass catcher. He's in a good offense. In Houston,
got about QB now.
Yeah, the guy.
Obviously they picked up Baker, of course, but but his situation was such that he's never really. Yeah,
he's playing with Deshaun Watson. They've got some great players on their offense. He's another guy that could do a job at a very cheap price, especially in PPR. He does a lot of catches, and that's what he's good at.
So certainly want to maybe load on in that flex position. So yeah, I don't just totally disagree with it. I'm not a huge Duke Johnson fan, if I'm honest. I'm not totally settled on him, but I get the
maybe
logic.
This is the situation he's needed.
It's just what he needs, yeah.
Because normally he's been buried behind, behind Chubb, and he was behind.
It's been very difficult for him to find
Crowell,
ways onto the field. At least the one thing's for sure, Lamar Miller's not taken away touches from this, so that's okay. This is the best situation for him.
Okay.
Year to shine, I think.
Number 5, he's RB30 overall. Latavius Murray. He's just joined the New Orleans Saints, so basically taken the Ingram role, and we know how valuable that was. So RB30, I can see it.
Yeah, it's making more and more sense. I mean, I am, again, it's another player I'm slowly warming to. I get where the experts are going with it. To me, it makes sense, particularly in standard. Touchdowns are king, so Latavius Murray will have an opportunity doing Ingram stuff. But he's kind of never wowed me. That's the only thing I'm going to say. It's okay, steady.
I've watched him live a few times. He just seems a bit of a plodder, but a steady guy. But he's got a great opportunity, and he's in a good offense. So sometimes that wins out, I guess, with fantasy.
I think around the 30 mark at running backs, we start getting. It's interesting because we've already mentioned Miles Sanders at 32. I'd rather have him over Latavius Murray at 30.
Well, I just think they're chalk and cheese, and evolved to talent and excitement and acceleration.
When I get to about running back 30 territory, I'm actually looking for a breakout star. I'm at that point in my draft. I'm looking for players that are going to boom for me, potentially boom.
But if Murray gets the Ingham role, then that could be.
It's definitely got value.
He's just not very exciting.
I know some of our watchers do like Latavius Murray as a good pick, and I guess it is at running back 30. It's no
I wouldn't put anyone off.
It's not the worst. It's not a bad pick.
Okay, number 6. This is Kalen Ballage.
It's a good pick because
he's slowly emerging as the number 1 in Miami, and I guess their game scripts aren't going to be great for running back wise, but they've really been talking him up for his acceleration. He's been the best running back. He's been electric. He looks a totally different player. They were really keen on this guy. And sometimes you've got to take that into account. An RB41.
Yeah, it's a good pick because you're potentially getting a 3 down back, and so when you're getting 1 down that far, that is a good sleeper, and that's a good expert pick. I think any time the player can exceed his numbers by a mile, you've got to be targeting them, and he's certainly got that opportunity. Right. And whether it's a bad offense or not, somebody's got to carry it. So, good chance.
The next
one of your stars.
The next one is one of my favourites. You always have your favourites in fantasy, don't you? And Matt Breida is one of mine. RB39. Tevin Coleman's there. Yeah, of course he's going to get a share of the work. Raheem Mostert looked pretty good in pre-season the other day. A lot of people have been picking him up in dynasty leagues and things like that. But Matt Breida for me, I just think he's the best running back there, and they like him a lot. He actually had when he came in, they said, "Oh, he's not much of a catcher. He's never really caught balls." But last year, he actually had the best stats, PFF ranking, I think. Player Football Focus of any running back. He had the best catching, actual rating. So he rarely dropped the ball. When he did, he made good plays. I think he can do it all. He can run. I mean, he did get injured quite a lot, but he did somehow play the next week, get injured again. So I can see why people might not like him. But Matt Breida's, I've liked him since he came in as an undrafted free agent. I picked him up, so maybe I'm a bit biased. But I love him. He's someone I just think he's an amazing talent, and he's underrated. Again, he's electric.
It's hard to knock him actually because he's so cheap. I mean, this is one thing you're always looking for, isn't it? I mean, when you're 39th off the board in running back numbers, that's cheap. He's underrated. McKinnon ain't going to do nothing there. Coleman,
McKinnon might be on the PUP list.
He's going to do nothing. I think Tevin Coleman might struggle a bit in that offense, and I think Breida will continue doing what he does, which is slowly take away shares of snaps. So I think he's good value at 39. I don't mind him at all, and I think he's particularly valuable in redraft. He's certainly got some value. I don't mind him.
Okay, well, there you go. Number 8, and this is one of your favourites, actually, Austin Ekeler, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. I mean,
RB32.
The problem is I've taken him in a large money league because he got 130. I keep saying the same numbers over my head all the time. 136 in standard scoring the year before.
And he's more of a PPR player, really.
Yeah, when Melvin Gordon's played. So you have to think, if Gordon sits, then his value must go up 10 or 20%. So that's quite huge. That's significant. And the other thing is, even if Gordon returns, he's still got standalone value. So you kind of think it's a win-win, really. It's kind of an easy pick. And at 32 running back, if some of the targets you've got are gone, then he's not a bad pick there. So, nice. And I'd say he's pretty steady for his points. So sometimes that's okay in fantasy. Just somebody who can do what they need to do to be relevant for you and have some occasionally big weeks, which is fine.
Yeah, exactly. And like I say, he catches the ball a lot. He's not really a runner between the tackles. He does the odd run, but
not expecting him to carry the load, but a not interesting player for this year for sure.
Yeah, right, he's somebody that you can add for a bit of depth on your bench. You can bring him in and play him in the flex if you need to.
You kind of hope he's your 4th or 5th running back in a small league, and then you can capitalise on the value as and when. And also, you've got that dangle over the Melvin Gordon owner as well.
I mean, if you've loaded up at wide receiver at the start of the draft, then Ekeler's an ideal sort of zero RB target later on.
Definitely.
Especially in PPR. Right, number 9 is somebody that we're not overly keen on.
I don't understand how he's made it onto the experts list, actually.
The experts have put him up, so we're going to talk about him. He's RB42. It's Ronald Jones.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, last year, he's only got Peyton Barber to beat out. That's a positive.
Didn't do it.
But he only had Peyton Barber to beat out last year. And
22 carries for 40 odd yards.
22 carries, 40 yards.
Sorry to say it, but that's not looking good.
He had one good run in pre-season, then went back to looking like a rabbit in the headlights.
Hasn't looked too good this pre-season either.
No. And news just breaking actually from last night is that he's dealing with knee swelling, and that's never a good thing either.
Look,
for us, he's an avoid, I think, isn't he?
We were interested in him before the start of the season last year. I watched one pre-season game last year, and I said to you straight away, no, that was that. He'd matched up against second stringers in the NFL and didn't look the part. We're a year after that now, and there's no improvement, and things just look like they're going backwards. So avoid. I can't, there's not much to say. Just avoid him. He hasn't proved it yet, and if he does prove it, fair play. We can talk about him properly next year. But this year, at 42, there are plenty of other running backs around that range. I'd rather take a flyer.
Yeah, I think it's a watching brief for this year. I wouldn't touch this guy unless you're really desperate. Because we've yet to see it. He's had a whole year to prove it.
I get it, like you said,
and he's injured now. So
I get it if you've gone 0 RB and you're starting to grab at straws and you need a running back that could come on. Fair enough, but why would you want to load him onto any team? We've already got some good running backs already. You're going to take shots at others, to be honest.
I'd rather take shots at others.
Yeah.
Number 10, Royce Freeman.
Similar situation.
RB40. Yeah. No, I think he's a lot better than Ronald Jones.
Yeah.
But Philip Lindsay still looks a guy there to me. He's the hardest runner. Freeman's a bigger back, and should be the guy really carrying the load. But that wasn't the case last year, and Lindsay came from behind him to win the job. Why would that change this year? I mean, he might do. He's okay. I don't hate him.
I think the thing is that it's going to be a real problem for Royce Freeman is Lindsay wants it more. And that's all I'm going to say. I mean, you can easily argue, well, surely they both want it as much. No, Lindsay wants it more. He's undrafted free agent. He proved why he reached the Pro Bowl last year. We highlighted him in our sleeper
He's actually from near the area as well, isn't he?
So. He's got the crowd behind him now. You've got, you got my favourite running back of all time, Latavius, singing his praises. Gave him the number 30. Gave him the number 30 for a reason last season. That wasn't just a fluke. He saw something in the kid, and that proved to be the case. He's the Tasmanian devil. We highlighted him. You don't underrate this guy's heart. The moment you start to think on a talent level who should win, of course Royce Freeman should win on a talent level, but talent doesn't always equal success. Heart, desire can sometimes be X factors, and this kid's got those.
Yeah, I think Royce Freeman will have a role.
Yeah, definitely.
But as Sean said, I think nobody was talking about Philip Lindsay last season apart from us. We're the only ones who mentioned him before the season, and everyone was going... No, well, nobody talked about Lindsay. They're wrong because we did. I mean, we were a lot smaller than most people, but the information we think is second to none. So stick with us. That's our review of the top 10 sleepers from the experts. Some we like, some we don't like. What are your opinions? Have you got somebody else you like?
Yeah, we're missing something on those. Is there a reason why one of those players might be somebody we should be taking a second look at? Or do you agree with our analysis on those guys? And we'll look forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah, so while you're down in the comments, leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.